We now head to South Africa, where the embattled power utility ESKOM and 3 of the trade unions representing workers have agreed to a 7% wage increase each year for the next 3 years. The agreement comes after back and forth negotiations between the unions and the power utility since April, as the current wage agreement expires at the end of this month. The deal includes a 7% annual increase in the housing allowance for the duration of the agreement and will be effective from July 1st to June 30th, 2026. Joining me now to discuss this further is the Energy Sector Coordinator for the National Union of Mineworkers, Khangela Baloyi. Khangela, welcome to News Central and NCP. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, and greetings to you and your viewers.
Thank you so much. Now, given that this is the first time in about more than a decade, if I'm correct, that the parties have reached such an agreement, what does this mean for the unions?
Yeah, no, it is correct. It has been long. The last time we had an agreement, I think it's 13 or 14 years ago. Yeah, for us as a trade union, this means a lot. You know, we welcome the increase of 7% for 3 years. And we know that this increase is very important because it's going to bring stability in ESKOM so that we can be able to continue with the production of electricity so that we be able to deal with the current load shedding that the country is facing.
Interesting. So we know at first ESKOM had warned that it would not be able to afford the increases in line with inflation. And of course, this seems to be a middle ground between the unions as well as ESKOM. On ESKOM's part, what do you think changed? What has now made it possible for ESKOM to meet the unions at this agreement?
Yeah, no, ESKOM has got a new leadership, you know, since the departure of the previous CEO. The new leadership is a little bit reasonable, and they are changing a lot of things, you know. And because ESKOM can be profitable as long as it's got a good leadership and good governance. You know, if ESKOM can be able to deal with corruption, deal with the price of primary energy and other issues that are affecting ESKOM and collection of revenue. It can be able to be profitable and it can be able to afford this. Actually, it can afford more than 7%, but we agreed on 7% because we are also reasonable as trade unions.
The unions are also reasonable. So now, in terms of this deal and the effect on ESKOM, we know, of course, as you mentioned, load shedding has been a massive issue for the South African economy for, as well, about a decade, if not more. How do you think this deal will affect ESKOM as it's desperately trying to maintain its aging fleet of coal-fired power plants? And there's a move to also see how the country can transition away from that.
Yeah, no, the move will assist ESKOM to stabilize. You know, if ESKOM is stable, they can concentrate more on, especially now that it is a deal for 3 years. For the coming 3 years, they won't be concentrating in trying to negotiate with the employees. They have a workforce that is stable, the organization that is stable, and that will assist in dealing with issues or concentrating on issues of load shedding, and maybe even trying to collect revenue, and even trying to deal with the issues of the just energy transition, you know, that is facing us, the issues of climate change.
The power utility has been facing financial woes, and you mentioned, of course, you believe ESKOM has the potential to pay more than 7%, but many are concerned about how much money South Africa's treasury has pumped into ESKOM. Do you have any concerns about the utility's ability to meet the terms of the agreements, not just now, but down the line until the agreement expires?
Yeah, no, the terms of the agreement for the 240 billion that was given to ESKOM is a worry to ourselves, you know, because some of those terms are really concerning. One of those terms is that ESKOM is not allowed to continue in the generation business or to participate in the building of new power stations. So that to us is a very big concern, you know, because if you do that, it means you are actually indirectly privatizing ESKOM, because the generation of electricity will only be done by the independent power producers. To us, that is a serious concern.
All right. Khangela, thank you so much for joining me. It's a conversation we'll continue to watch very closely because many would be concerned to see what would happen if ESKOM fails at any point in time to meet the terms of the agreement and what the response from the unions will be. But once again, congratulations, and we look forward to speaking to you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.